Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Know Your Mutant Breeder. Today we have Variant from Variant's Corner in the house. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
How are you?
Excellent.
Excellent. Glad to have you stop by. You guys, some of you folks over on Real DGC might recognize Variant as an active member of the community. He is a Colorado folk, and he has stopped by today to hang. And man, I got to be honest, I don't know a lot about mutants, so I was hoping that you could fill me in and everybody else.
Absolutely.
And and I would be remiss without mentioning we got Grambo running the boards.
Still dressed like Marty McFly.
Thank you, sir. Alrighty, so first question I have is that's kind of your specialty, right? It's like you're into the mutant cannabis strains. The one that I'm familiar with is ABC, was Australian bastard cannabis, right?
Yeah.
And man, I would love to learn more about what other mutations are kind of popular and why I would want them. I guess there must be some sort of interesting qualities about them that make them desirable. So I'd love to learn all about that.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. They there are a handful of varieties. The ones I work with more specifically are the Australian bastard cannabis, or ABC for ease of talking about.
Yeah.
But as well as some single leaf or swag and lanceolate type varieties. But honestly, there's a whole world out there of shapes that I have a few of in my garden, but I don't, claim to work with other than enjoy growing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the neat thing about mutants, is it seems like it kind of marries a little bit of just the general houseplant, horty head or horticultural, just people enjoy houseplants and decorative stuff as well as cannabis.
Gotcha.
It kind of marries those worlds.
Are the mutations focused on the leaves and their appearance, or are there other mutations that people are interested in?
No,
or they are interested in?
Fair. Largely, it is the leaf morphologies,
okay,
leaf shapes, things like that. That's the most common mutants that are kind of chased after and/or, recognized. Although some of them do vary the flowers as well, into things like string of pearls, where it's just strings of calyxes and nothing else, not stacked together in a bunch, but strung out in a string, literally.
Neat.
And again, not something I work with, but I do certainly enjoy seeing, and it is out there. It's just a part of, like I said, just the whole world of cool shapes that are out there that, and available.
And how does this all happen? Like, is it literally just luck of the draw? Somebody came across a mutant and then just starts breeding with it and trying to isolate that trait, or how does that happen?
A lot of it is just chasing recessives, and isolating recessive traits. Some of them stack up. Some of them are related, it seems. There's not a ton known about a lot of them. And a lot of it is that's what makes it fun too, is kind of potentially finding something of your own, making something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Or taking, like all of us, standing on the shoulders of giants who've already created a lot of these things.
Yeah.
And getting to play with them and try to tweak it to make it something that you enjoy in your flavors.
Okay.
A lot of these shapes can be added to something that you already like in a matter of generations. It's not going to be easy to pull off. It is work. It's not a quick
running a lot of plants, right?
It is. It can be. But that's what's neat too, is because you're looking at leaves.
Yeah.
A lot of these selections can be made in the vegetative stage. So you don't have to go to term to make a lot of your selections.
You can do it quicker.
Exactly.
Or more turns.
Exactly.
Well, so for the ABC, what is it like smoking wise? Like, what does it smell like? What does it taste like?
So a lot of it has a piney terpene sort of, and/or lime.
Terpenylene kind of dominant, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
But with work, other flavors have come out. Like I mentioned, or I may not have yet, but Ben Chicken is whose shoulders I've been standing on with this ABC work that I've been doing. Is stuff that he's already been establishing and that kind of thing. And have gotten to work with. He's a breeder out of Australia and has gifted me with some projects as well. Been working with him through Discord, largely.
Okay.
But You'll see some of his contact info on my site as well.
Okay.
But currently, I'm about to release a project that, like I said, he had gifted to me that was Hoodoo, which was around here for a while, an Old Dominion.
Duke. I have a pack at home.
There you go. Yeah. So there's an Australian cut of that.
Okay.
He took and has essentially, like I said, worked it in with ABC and is trying to bring out the classicness that is the Hoodoo in the costume of ABC.
Okay. So the ABC, the beans that you work with, are they all coming from like an original like mother, I guess, or parents?
So some of these mutations are a bit different. And ABC is a bit different than the rest, I feel like. And I feel like most of the community sees it this way, as it was more of a natural occurring and selected mutation that was kind of found in a few sites, as I understand it. And Ben Chicken and a couple of people have worked with it since then. And the very original form of it is very feral, very wild, not very hempy, definitely not commercial or viable, so to speak. And folks like Ben Chicken have been working it for a while.
Okay.
And
but all that work is based on that plant.
It is.
Okay.
It is. And unlike a lot of the rest of them that were done more through recessive selections in breeding projects, that one started more as
you just literally found it.
It was
here's this one plant that looks like this.
And I've heard a lot of different, and I'm going to mess up this part of the story. There's definitely someone that'll tell it better, but I also understand that part of that pressure may have been that, Australia did an eradication process, and without recognizing it as the classic leaf shape, it got overlooked.
Interesting.
And maybe influenced some of that process.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was just a feral mutation selection, more or less.
So the seeds that you're working with, the mutants, is it one particular mutation or is it a number of different things?
Sure. So you have like the Australian bastard cannabis, the ABC, which kind of is its own deal. And then some of the other ones are recessives and sort of subclasses that have been selected within those recessives, or consistent mutations that have been sort of isolated within those recessives, I guess would be the best way to say it. So you have ABC as one, you have Duckfoot and or Swag as in maybe another kind of standalone.
These are like unique leaf shapes.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Whereas the Duckfoot and Swag are more of a webbed sort of leaf shape. Yeah. And then you have, and then within the Duckfoot, you have Swag, which is more the smooth edge. And some people even say, I've bred the serrations back into it. So you'll get, that's a bit blurred, where you'll have smooth edge and or serrated Swag and Duck. And then you have ABC, like we've established. And you also have things like Freak Show, which is more of the pinnate leading to palmate sort of fern style leaf shapes.
Gotcha.
And I believe and then the extreme lanceolate.
So that's a single
leaf, totally single finger. And some of those will stay single tip, and some of those will shoot out little three tips at the very end, but become very long and hooded still.
Okay. And that's not the same as, I've seen plenty of plants like on Instagram where some people get like cushes. They'll be like, oh, it's throwing out single finger or, 3-finger leaves. That's different.
That's different.
Right? Okay.
Right. Yeah. Like a lot of people will see weirdness when they've re-vegged, and or if a plant is somewhere gotten, especially the photo period plants that get tricked and then come back, whether it's intentional or not. That's a lot of times when you'll see other single leaves, get triggered and tricked out, because it's normally doing that count up, count down leaf, count rotate progression.
Gotcha. So when the mutations, are you looking for both a male and a female that have that leaf pattern?
To lock them in, yeah, totally. Okay. So that's why it takes some couple generations to do it, like a minimum of 3 to really sort of isolate a shape, and beyond to sort of try to lock it in with any sort of flavor sort of added to it kind of thing. Where so you start off like, for example, I mentioned sage is one of my nostalgia favorites. So I took this sage plant.
Sage, I love this. Sage is sativa Afghani genetic equilibrium, and Adam Dunn. Shout out to Adam Dunn.
Nailed it.
In case any of you guys have ever had, that's excellent. By the way, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it was.
So that's the sage.
Totally. So as one of my favorites, I found one that I liked of it, and have since hit it with some ABC pollen. Now in this first generation, I'm not going to see any mutations. I was only going to see normies.
Is that because, and that's because it's recessive?
Exactly.
The trait that you're looking for. So you have to run even more plants because you're looking for specifically for a recessive trait.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That is one of the challenges with working with recessives or mutants is it takes an extra couple steps to really sort of isolate just the shape, let alone the flavors. And in some cases, some of the profiles are pretty dominant with those shapes, and it can be kind of difficult to move away from those.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do those combine with other cultivars? Or do some of them combine better than others?
Sure. Just like, any regular Norvies, some of them, you'll put some together and
it just doesn't mix.
No, exactly. So, a lot of it's hopes. Like I'm hoping that some of that heavy, classic sage with the heavy garlic finish, like some of that stuff might come across and cover up a little bit of the more piney, heavy terpenoline which is often what some of the mutants will bring to the table. Or in the case of the single leaf is like you sampled kind of strong menthol, like on the front end. And it's kind of hard to beat that menthol with whatever you're trying to add to it.
Gotcha. So you have to you run a bunch of plants. So you're kind of looking for the one that has the leaf shape, but the flavor from the other.
Exactly. Right. And that's kind of what I've been working with sage. Exactly. So I'm only partway into that project. And the next step will be to find a couple ABC expressing and take those two that I like, both shape, expressing, and have the flavor, and take those to the next one to try to lock in something that looks like ABC, but has a profile of sage.
Okay.
And that's what I think most folks that are working with it are trying to do largely, is take things that are their favorites.
Yeah.
And give it a new shape kind of stuff.
Is this really popular like outside or in places where prohibition is still pretty strong?
That's one of the advantages to it. The whole grow in plain sight. Like a lot of this you wouldn't recognize necessarily. And quite honestly, most folks, including avid smokers, would walk by a lot of these plants.
Yeah.
Especially if they weren't in flower. So for the first 3/4 of summer or your season, they can be front and center, and most folks, including partakers, wouldn't realize that that's what's in front of them.
And you have pictures up, right? Like
I do.
On Variance Corner.
I do.
All right. So you guys check that out. You can visit his profile over on realdgc.com.
Yeah. So also, you just type into Google, go GreenCog variants, and he's the first search result.
Yeah, but definitely it's worth a click to check out some photos of this stuff. It's fascinating. Just it's
totally
looks so different than anything else. And then sometimes you wonder if it's AI.
and I do have my website sort of split. Like I have GreenCog variant, which has kind of become my non-canna site so much.
Yeah. As
Variance Corner, which is where I really focus on the canna to play the games that we all have to play.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Cool. But the whole thing though is just these wild looking plants.
Absolutely.
They just look completely unique and different. And then do you find that they have other characteristics? Like, do they express different colors, or are there other things about it besides the leaves that you've noticed?
Sure. So in addition to just leaf shape, which is like kind of the big distinguishing factors, I've seen the lighter colors, the pinks, all sorts of things come through as well.
Yeah.
In the pistils and the calyx, the other place that they'll stand out and be a bit different on that front is with variegation.
We want you to come on over and join us at realdgc.com. I wanted to remind you all, membership is free, guys. We have a great growing community over there for real. Check out these groups. You can go on over there to ask a grow question, hang out and grow talk, throw down some memes. We have 4,000 active growers over there. No censorship. realdgc.com. Membership is free. Come on over and hang out. Step up and become a producer. Get those grower dividends. You'll see what I'm talking about. Check out realdgc.com. You grow strong, yo.
All the way to being albino and that kind of thing. Yeah, which is pretty functionless in reality. But it can be for the person that just is fun playing with plant and not necessarily. And that's the thing is, I guess the other point that I think is important is just after a few runs, people quickly realize you don't have to go for yield anymore. You can enjoy growing some of these fun, different, interesting plants and enjoy the growing process when it looks so crazy as you're trellising it.
It's like super hobby, bro.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And the ABC plants especially lend themselves. I think they're the closest to being commercial as far as like,
because of like yield and time.
Exactly. And just their growability. Okay. They have a few advantages too, specifically, like they're super easy to trim. They have long petioles, which just lend themselves to reaching right in there and snipping out super easy. And the sugar leaves are extra tiny. So they're their flavor leaves really at that point, because they're not worth digging out. You're just leaving them in.
Yep.
And the yield is right there. They take a little bit longer on the veg.
Okay.
The other place that I'm really having fun with them is they're almost self-supporting. The way those leaves reach out, they'll reach out and grab each other and almost self-trellis. Like I've gotten in a habit with my grow of running double trellises. And a lot of times the ABC almost doesn't even need to be, certainly not second trellis. And, or we'll only need one of the two, depending on how tall it's going into the system. But because the leaves interlock so much, it really
so you grow them differently.
Yeah. And that's
interesting.
My growth style in general is a little bit different too.
Tell us about it.
Okay. I do HPS. And I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
we were just talking about that on the show.
I was kind of curious. I heard, DWC tells you something about me. So what does it tell you? What I just
You're an OG, bro. That's what it tells me.
And that you don't mind some hard work.
Yeah, it tells me that you know what you're doing.
No, that's my setup is I do HID lighting, so HPS as well as metal halide.
Yeah,
I do shifted veg to flower and use them as tools ranging from 400 to 1,000 watt, depending on stages as I step it up and what they're doing and how well I've been able to
old school,
including unshielded, like no covers on my items. And then running recirculating DWC in like a pretty specific custom built like kind of setup with doing a few things that generally they say not to, like my totes. My reses are big, long, wide totes set right on the slab purposefully to use that heat sink to keep them cool. And so I don't have to run chillers.
I feel like, man, if you spend all that time building out a custom system for years and it works and you like it, where's the incentive to change?
That's part of it. Like LEDs are tempting every once in a while, but my whole system would have to change. I'd have to revamp. Yeah. Like I'm built around the heat of my HPSs. I can't run CO2 because I run constant air exchange to handle the heat more or less.
But you figured out a system that has worked for a long time. So to me, that it's proven, it's tried and tested and true. And like what? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, why change it? Good on you for keeping it.
Thanks.
You built something that works. So just keep doing it.
Thank you. Thank you. Totally.
Yeah, I don't get the hate either, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, I suppose if you were starting new, fresh, maybe you wouldn't go that path now. Maybe. I don't know.
I like the cleanliness of it.
Yeah.
Largely. I also play around a little bit with tissue culture, so it just kind of lends itself much more naturally to that avenue.
I'm going to guess it lends itself to running higher numbers, especially if you're chasing recessive genes.
Yeah, totally. And you can run a tray of seedlings and wipe out half of them pretty much in the first couple nodes with your first selections. And that's super interesting. I think, especially in the DGC, there's many people that are now having fun making their own, seeds and things like that.
Yeah.
A really neat thing with these mutants is you get to see a lot more visual feedback of what you've done.
Yeah.
As you're doing it, you see these new leaf shapes crop out. You see a lot more visual feedback, and immediately you can make these choices in a small cloner and that kind of thing. So the person who only has one tent in a bubbler.
It's like It's like speed running a little bit.
Yeah. So it just brings, I think it's a lot more accessible than people might think.
I will say, so you hit on something that's been I've been thinking about a little bit lately, which is kind of the joke now on the show is like, like mushrooms are the new kind. But I think the new thing around that I see that like the edgy folks are doing is it's all about that home breeding and projects and stuff and like sharing it with your buddies.
Yeah.
And it's really seems to me like it's all focused on for that moment when you're going to go hang out with your stoner grower friends and you're going to show up with something that nobody else has and is interesting and you're going to talk about it. And it's like it's a conversation piece. It's a way to like just enjoy the fruits of your labor and all that time that you put into it. But that seems to be like more and more happening. I think it's really cool.
I agree. I think it's like I said, kind of a nice meeting of almost house plant, ornamental plant, and cannabis, all kind of sort of some of those interests blending together because once you've done a couple of harvests, you don't need to be chasing weight. You can chase fun, interesting things.
So like everything is shifted. So like that's still, I'm sure there's people who still do that too. Like, I mean, Scott's very like, factory focused and that's just his style.
Yeah.
But with the easier way to communicate with people, to share pictures like realdgc.com and get feedback and share tips and tricks, get other people to help you run seeds and all that. Like where we're at right now, it is easier than ever to kind of drive that hobby.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of ways and a lot of knowledge out there now where you don't have to spend a lot of money to grow either. And so it seems like if you are interested in it and you do like the hobby aspect of it, instead of trying to throw a bunch of weight, sling it, man, there's a lot of folks out there that are doing that stuff. And there's a lot of really cool, interesting things that are happening. And, you're right at the forefront of all of that.
And I really think some of these even hit different. I think that as we get the ability to do some testing too, we'll find that there's actually maybe some additional, entourage effects or options that are hiding amongst some of these mutants. Like something that kind of hits me weird when you talk to people about mutants is, and it surprised me because when I first stumbled into it, I was like, whoa, what are these potentially going to have that the normal ones don't have? Yeah. What's better? What's maybe new, unique, and better? Maybe that's my left-handed, my walking recessiveness that makes it so interesting to me personally. But yeah, whereas a lot of times people hit it the other direction, they think they're less than, and that hits me like, so like, how are they not thinking like, ooh, this could hold something different, something neat, something that's not out there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, the gene pool that's in there is there aren't really bad genes. It's just that they're not desirable, right? It's kind of like a weed. Like, I mean, what makes a plant a weed?
Totally.
You don't like it.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
It's the same kind of thing.
Any of these recessives.
So who knows? Well, I mean, it's if it, and I don't know how scientifically, like if it's been narrowed down and it's, you can tell which gene does that.
Right.
But would it be interesting to find out if it is related to those other genes that produce cannabinoids and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot of undiscovered territory. And other than just hitting it and going, wow, I think that hits a bit different. And as being an additional reason why I've gotten so interested. The first time I grew it to flower, I'm like, oh yes, this is staying in my garden.
So firsthand experience of actually running them out. Mm-hmm. You do notice them being different.
I did notice them getting different. And
like in effects, I mean.
Absolutely. Okay. And to be fair too, I like one-to-ones. I like a wide range of cannabis as well. So I do have,
a good palette to draw from.
Yeah. And so
I trust you, bro.
I appreciate just, being able to smoke it for its own sake sometimes too. Like for the flavors, even if it's not going to knock me on my butt.
Yeah.
So much, but just be a unique experience.
Yeah.
But
it's legit.
A lot of them really do hit different, I feel like. And this hoodoo project that I'm still in the midst of, and it's going to be hitting. That's partly why I'm so anxious to share them. I'm going to go ahead and put them on. I'm going to go ahead and share them sooner rather than later, rather than waiting till they're locked into 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and put them out there and available
You have a Discord server or something,
I do.
right?
I have a
Probably
Discord.
checking out over there.
Absolutely. And these will be like, 50%, 25 and 50% expressing ABCs, whereas a couple of the other things I have on there are already 100% expressing.
Gotcha. So these are just earlier gens. They're just not worked as far.
Totally.
So you'll have less of the mutant gene.
Totally. So they'll be able to select. And honestly, it's whichever one pops up, for example, the hoodoo by itself and what I was seeing in the normie looking ones.
Right. You're just getting hoodoo.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Which is still a win. This was amazing on its own.
Yeah. So you're not really losing it.
No. And you might get lucky and then get the 50% or depending on which variety, because I also have another version based on feral jelly.
Okay.
On the site as well. It's a 50% expressing versus the hoodoo's 25. And, I up the seed count in those a little bit to accommodate for it. They are all regulars as well. But if they choose to select for that ABC and join the mutant,
interesting.
Mutant Army, Mutant Hunt.
It's a fun project.
Totally.
If you're into that kind of thing, I mean, it's something that's totally different. I think that there's something sort of like eternally optimistic about a pack of seeds. And so like, if you have that in you where you kind of have a belief that there's something interesting in there, like that's the perfect way to scratch that itch. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like run them and then just wait and see what happens.
Absolutely.
So that's fun.
And these are fun, and colors, shapes, everything are there.
Interesting. Do you have lines or how does that work?
Yeah. So right now it's on the side are Banksy Tarkush, a couple expressions I found within that.
That's the BTK.
The BTK, okay. Exactly. A couple expressions within that I thought were unique. One that I called angry because it almost looks like it's giving you the middle finger. And
I saw a picture.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Once you see that, you're like, oh my God, my whole plant's flipping me off.
It's got one middle long foxtail in the middle, and it looks like it's flipping you off.
Oh. But so that's one, the angry pheno, and one was much sweeter. And instead of being very piney, it had much more of a, not necessarily fruity, but just maybe more mercy, more like a sweeter undertone.
Okay.
So that's the difference between those two. And those are very much ABC expressing. There's kind of, one will be taller, more standalone nugs. The other one tends to be a little more bushy shape, shrubby. So if you're scrogging, it'll really lend itself to that.
Okay.
But both of them are very energetic, uplifting, kind of, for me at least. Yeah, is where I find them. So I enjoy them. They, one of them in particular is the functional with a list, like, why did I come into this room? Oh yeah.
All spacey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, functional with a list.
Yeah.
I've had everything to do stuff. What was I doing?
I got you. You need a reminder or a constant reminder. I got you.
Totally. So, but yeah, no, they're very enjoyable for their effects alone. I think probably the ABC, if somebody is really wanting something that's going to be as close to a performer for weight and or has limited space and needs it to perform for that reason, maybe.
Okay.
Would probably be of the mutants, the one to lean towards.
Okay.
But also with those fewer leaves come a lot better light penetration. So you end up not needing to lollipop as hard because the light's getting all the way down.
Yeah.
Further into the plant.
Doesn't have as tight of a dense of a canopy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Anything? Is that the only line that you're working, or?
It's the only one that I have on the site so far. I have some single leaf, the swag, and the lanceolate that I'm working with.
They just need like more.
They need a little bit more work right now before they're out there. I have thought about. I have a couple of people ask me if they're available to work with who are also wanting to just kind of work with shapes a bit.
Yeah.
And I've thought about maybe releasing them as maybe a breeding tool, if you will, or whatever,
like pre-tester.
Yeah. So if that's their intent, but that's, but they're really kind of tricky.
Yeah. And I don't mean to pressure you. I can sense that you're want to take a little more time on those. And
I just want to do things right. Yeah. I just want to make sure by the time I'm putting it out there, it's
I know people get all excited about the seeds and they're chomping at the bit. They want the next new hottest thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes you got to wait a little bit because it needs a little work.
Totally. And some of these I might put up as clones sooner. If I find something that's like shown that it's stable enough to be what I think people would like. Yeah. Then I'll put that out there. But, the single leaf's tricky. The single leaf has been proven to be hard to get consistent and or functional. Because
is it like just a super recessive gene, or what is it like?
Well, it also seems to, at least what I'm working with, it seems to also be sort of linked with crinkle, which is where it'll curl up and or just look distorted, even though it's not unhappy.
Okay,
it looks unhappy.
Now that's not like the OG crinkle where the leaf, it kind of, because I've had tons of plants like that where it does have that little kind of twist to it. Is that different, or is that the same thing?
It's kind of the same thing. These almost look more, I would say, wow, I don't know the right word to put on it, but definitely like stressed, crinkled paper. Yeah. Crinkled paper would be a great expression of it. And it's, and it really affects affects the growth and the ones that are non-serrated.
Yeah.
I feel like just like in clothing and stuff, those serrations let it open up and lay flat when you're trying to lay out a flat curve or bend.
Yeah.
Leaf, same thing. These ones that are non-serrated suddenly have no reliefs to let any of this open up.
Like if you put a piece of bologna in a hot pan.
Exactly.
It'll trim the edges.
Yep.
Or pork roll for you New Jersey people.
Totally.
Or Taylor ham for your.
So it looks like they're clawing sometimes, but that clawing is really because there's no relief for that leaf to be able to really open up. Like there's no serrations.
So do you think that makes it more sensitive to changes in light or humidity or heat, where naturally, like in other leaves, the leaf would be able to react to those situations? Does it become kind of limited, like a limiting factor, you think?
That's a good question. They definitely don't seem to prey as hard, if you will. They don't seem to position themselves quite as drastically as a traditional leaf does. They're a bit more trapped, but at the same time, you also get you can fit more in because they're not covering each other up.
Okay.
The other thing that I find that makes it difficult for selecting in these is petioless. So rather than having a petiole, the leaf will start right out of the stem.
Yeah.
So, and those generally are the least functional of them.
Because they're a pain to trim.
They are a pain to trim, and that leaf ends up curling over the bud site and trapping it as well. Yeah. So selecting away from that, away from the crinkle a little bit to try to find a broad, smooth leaf.
Yeah.
The other thing that's in there is variegation. And that can just be a pretty accent in some cases.
Yeah.
In other cases, it can be as extreme as making it less functional with the lack of chlorophyll, the less chlorophyll.
Do you see any like specific types of patterns in the variegation? Like kind of like split 50-50. Like I've seen a lot of the chems in general have that buried in it somewhere.
Yeah.
Where every once in a while you get a leaf and then just half of it is just like yellowish or white.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I haven't seen anything quite as cut and dry drastic as that. I get a lot of marbling.
Okay.
Where it's more of like a camel or like mixed in.
Camouflage.
Yeah. And then the edges. So like the borders, especially, will be the lighter color and dark in the middle.
Interesting.
And the stuff I'm working with, I have not found the drastic albino or split leaf like what you're describing.
Yeah.
I've certainly seen it, and it's absolutely out there. But it also has to be that in particular is very much about pruning and training to keep that variegation going, because the green will take over in those instances.
How does that work?
Well, the greens just has more chlorophyll and it's able to produce more. It's just more productive. So it'll outpace and outgrow anything that's like albino or even, so in this case, partly or even half and half, or so severely variegated that the green just can outperform and take over.
And then the other parts of the plant won't become variegated after that, or
generally not. And it's hard to find a plant that is stably variegated. And that's another kind of wild card that there are there's a handful of people working with these for sure. You know, I'm definitely not the only one tasting these, you know. Wow. And some of them are having very, you know, maybe I'm not as into the variegation as its own thing. Yeah. There are certainly people that are way into it. I have some friends on Discord who that is, you know, what they're certainly into. Shout out on Stabby. Yeah. Anyway. Well,
that's cool, man. Yeah. It's very interesting. Well, the other thing I wanted to ask you about is the flower time. Did you say that it was longer, or no? It was veg time was a little bit longer. What's the flower time like?
So far, most of what I've run into is I've been going anywhere from that 9-10 week kind of range. Pretty average. Pretty A few I've let go longer. I rarely have a monocrop going. That's the downside to some of what I've been playing with. Is I get so much things going that I rarely have a monocrop. So a lot of times, and in my system, it's hard to pull early without leaving a root ball in the system that's can't be in there too long without causing an issue.
Right.
So
gotcha.
So a lot of times I have to play to the crowd, so to speak, and some things may go longer than they have to. But for the most part, most of these seem like they're pretty happy right in that 9-10 week range. A couple of them I've let go longer. I didn't see an advantage in it. So
gotcha.
So
I was just curious because they're mutants. There might be an idea that they either are, you know, like really fast or they take really long.
They are a little slower through the veg in many cases. And a lot of times they're a little slower to get going. And that's kind of, again, been a turnoff for some folks. But in theory, especially if you got a perpetual going, once you've made that model, that loop, that time frame doesn't matter so much.
Right. Because you're not waiting for it.
No, you've worked whatever that is. It's in the system and it's going to keep perpetuating itself.
That's another thing about the hobby grows. Yeah, I kind of learned that the hard way. Or I shouldn't say the hard way, but finally, we're like, you don't need to be on a production schedule.
No,
like you're growing weed for your friends and yourself. Like, well, it's okay if it's a week later.
And how often are you like, for folks that do have multiple or have a veg and a flower, how often are you holding back your veg, waiting for the flower to finish so you can hurry up and get it over there? A little extra time on the veg might not be a bad thing.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly.
So,
man, the day that I finally that clicked for me was the day that I started really like enjoying it again, because I'm not looking for another like job or like something to be responsible for.
No,
I want something to be kind of that is more like relaxing and rewarding and kind of like, you know, just kind of be there at the moment and just enjoy it for what it is, like right at that time. It's not a task to like flip off the list, and you know what I mean? And man, if you can shift thinking about it that way, it's just so much more fun.
It's a lot of fun. It is. And once people go down this mutant rabbit hole, it's hard not to just keep going and just see all the cool things out there why not grow?
Now you came to the cup, right?
I did.
So and I don't remember what you entered. Was it a mutant?
I actually had 2 entries. I had
2 entries.
Yeah, one was and one wasn't. So I had a Goof Off, which is a normie.
Okay.
Kind of a tangy leaning one that I've been working for a while. It's one of my favorites that I kind of keep in my garden.
Okay.
That was actually the one I entered the year before as well. And it was my backup. I was really wanting to bring 2 mutants this year. And the other one I just wasn't happy with. It was the menthol. Depending on how the menthol would have played to the crowd, maybe that would have been a kit. I don't know. I decided not to go there and went with the Goof Off, which ended up doing pretty well. And I was super happy with that.
Please accept my apologies that I don't specifically remember it.
Oh, no. It is all good.
I try, man, but it's a blur. Tough. It's tough. It really is.
The cup melts our brains.
Right? It's really hard, especially when everybody drops samples off. It's just, for me, it's like,
totally.
And then I did do a little bit better this year, though. I did bring some little bags to try to label some stuff, because before it was all going to one big jar.
Yeah.
But I do look forward to trying out new, unique, different stuff like yours or whatever. So I hope you're coming back next year.
I am. And I hope to bring some buddies who also will be bringing mutants.
So we need a mutant category.
Wow. That might be a cool thing.
I'm not against that.
That might be cool. Although I bet they hold their own against the regulars.
Actually, you know, let me ask you. So if it's just really the leaves, then, I mean, you can't really tell once you dry it and cure it and trim it up for flower.
The blind taste
you
test?
Can't really tell, right?
No.
So like at the cup, you would not recognize it as a mutant, probably.
Likely not. No more than the rest of us can, maybe find theirs through taste and or years of using, being.
Yeah, but just by looks, though, no one's going to say, like, oh, that's a mutant.
No. The flower, the bud, not standalone different from anything else.
Okay.
Some might look a little more foxtail-y, maybe, like for example, the angry.
Right. But that's other bud can do that too, though.
Absolutely, yeah. Nothing that would set itself out.
There's nothing like that, but yeah, once you trim off the leaves, there's nothing that identifies it as a mutant, really.
No. And,
cool.
and I think they'd hold their own with the regular.
I'd bring it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more mutants at the cup. I'm not going to lie.
I'm hoping, still working out the details with Brett, but I'm hoping to have a table at the cup.
Okay.
And actually,
sure we can figure that out.
Yeah. Hoping to be set up there and have both mine and maybe some of my mutant buddies have their stuff there as well.
Absolutely.
And I'll certainly plan on having clones and seeds and tissue culture and bring the whole kit and caboodle.
If there's going to be a bunch of you cats, we might have to have a little either a little mutant section or a mutant category. That'd be kind of cool, man.
I think it'd be
people would love to see that stuff. I don't know if you guys would wind up bringing plants.
I plan to.
That would be really cool just to actually see all this stuff, like like in person.
No, I definitely plan to. I plan to have some good examples to show.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
And for all of you at home, June 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2026, I believe, Grambo, right, for the cup?
Yes, sir.
And you can check that out, dgccup.com. Tickets will be on sale probably towards the end of the year. You can sign up for the mailing list right now, though, and you'll be the first to know when tickets go on sale. It will sell out, just so you know. It does every year. And I'll wait.
I'll be there. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming by and telling us all about mutants, because I learned a lot. I had no idea. I knew there was the ABC. I heard of the Freak Show.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I see Don lugging it around, but man, I had no idea that any of that was all happening.
Yeah. It's a whole world people should really explore.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, is it just Variant on Real DGC, so people can find you realdgc.com/ and then just go to members, and then you can search right in the little.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you again. And hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time.